first congratulate International Forum for Environment, Sustainability and Technology, iFOREST, for this path-breaking work and the release of the report on planning a just transition, a district-based approach on India's coal and power districts. We are all aware that a coal phase down has become necessary in the face of pressing concerns of climate change and to save our planet, as we don't have multiple planets. The growth and cost competitiveness of renewable energy, backed by necessary policy support, has provided a huge amount of impetus for a shift towards clean energy sources for meeting our energy needs and development goals. India has taken a leadership role and has an ambitious plan to scale up renewable energy in the next 10 years. We have the onerous task of ensuring energy justice and clean energy access at affordable prices in the country. This would help to improve the lives of people and reduce carbon footprints. This report by iFOREST clearly highlights the aspects of local communities' reliance on coal mining and coal-based sectors, as well as the possible consequences of an energy transition and opportunities for alternative job creation, economic diversification, and revenue replacement. The IPCC has recommended a phasing out coal-based power plants by 2050 and adopting a system transition in electricity generation, largely relying on renewable energy sources. This has already been taken up in global discourse, where the contribution of coal to global electricity generation has reduced from 40% in 2010 to 36.4% in 2019. India has announced that by 2029-30, the share of renewables in the total installed electricity capacity will be 500 gigawatts, which will be nearly twice the coal and lignite-based thermal power sources. India has large coal reserves as a national resource, whereas to promote and be more dependent on renewable energy sources, India needs certain rare earth minerals for extracting and consuming renewable energy responsibly, which currently depends on other countries as well. A large proportion of our informal workers with low income are dependent on the coal mining and its related activities. Hence, the people have an insufficient adaptive capacity for any abrupt and unplanned closure at mining activities. The need to phase out coal, therefore, requires a detailed analysis and deliberative approach to avoid socioeconomic disruption in the coal sector. This study is a very important study. Actually, this can become the template in terms of impact on jobs and livelihood, revenue, and other social sector investments. The energy shift will have consequences for coal-dependent districts and states. Just transition has arisen as a concept around the world to ensure that coal-dependent towns and regions do not suffer as a result of the phase-out of coal. It emphasizes the importance of planning the transition to clean energy systems and low-carbon economy in such a way that net positive economic, social, the economic, social, and environmental results are achieved. I entirely agree that a strategic plan needs to be developed in the immediate future to prevent the haphazard closures of mine and socioeconomic disruptions. And the policy should include components of coal phase-out strategy at the national and state level, coal-based power phase-out plan and simultaneous incentivization of clean energy, regulatory revisions of the coal industry about mine closure and reclamation, lease transfer, labor, etc. The challenge is that the renewable energy costs have dropped over the past 10 years due to improvements in product design, manufacturing efficiency and capacity, economies of scale and policies such as tax credit, feed-in tariff, and renewable portfolio standards. As a result, the levelized cost of energy of new renewables has become cost competitive with and quite often cheaper than traditional fossil fuel power sources globally and across most regions. In 2019, more than half of utility scale renewable capacity additions achieved tariff lower than the cheapest new coal plant. The decline in renewable and storage prices is expected to continue. Improved digitalization and energy efficiencies are helping to address the intermittency of renewables and modernizing the energy system. To ensure a just transition, countries should stay ahead of the curve, and India must do that, particularly the states where there are coal reserves, and manage the risks of stranded assets, fiscal instability, and job losses. In gas importing regions like Europe, China, and Japan, for example, the cheapest new build peaking technology is battery storage. To reach the net zero by mid-centuries, countries need to rapidly phase out coal by 2030 in EU OECD, 2037 in non-OECD Asia, and 2040 in the rest of the world. The net zero targets announced by major G20 countries indicate a turning point for international climate politics, and there is hope that the US under new leadership will contribute to more ambitious action. Several opportunities exist in G20 countries to increase international action to move beyond coal in 2022 and beyond. India is the only country which has maintained 2-degree climate pathways amongst the G20 nations. We are also cautious about its clean energy transition pathways. Coal, being the major share in the energy basket, needs greater efforts from all the actors to reduce its share in the energy mix. We are doing a lot of work to ensure that the just transition is both smooth and is citizen friendly. I entirely agree that the informal workforce will be impacted most, which is nearly 4 times the formal workforce. The informality is particularly high in sectors such as coal, steel, cement, and fuel retail. And majority of such workers are low skilled, have poor education, and earn low incomes. As energy transition will have 3 primary types of impact on the workforce, as mentioned by Mr. Chandrabhushan. These have to be addressed through appropriate transition planning. And therefore, it's very important that we increase retraining and reskilling requirements for the existing workforce due to changes in production processes or repurposing of facilities and skilling of the new workforce to meet the requirements of new low carbon industry to help achieve a net zero through transition. So what will just transition entail? And to my mind, just transition in India will necessitate a development intervention to minimize negative impacts of an energy and industrial transition on the fossil fuel dependent states, districts, workers, and the local community. And this would require, to my mind, based on our experience of the aspirational districts, we would suggest that we need a restructuring of the economy and industries. We need a repurposing of the land and infrastructure. We need a reskilling of the existing and skilling new workforce. And we need a revenue substitution and investment in just transition. We need very responsible social and environmental policies. Now, this would require us to do a lot of hard work. This is not an easy job. This is a very tough job. Fortunately, this report by Mr. Chandrabhushan and his team of iFOREST lays down the model for one district for a just transition and for a district which is India's biggest coal and power district. It gives us a lot of lessons. It gives us a lot of lessons for the future and what the country needs to do in other districts, what the country needs to do in coal-rich states. Because these are also states where there are huge challenges of education, health, malnutrition. These are states where we need to accelerate growth so that India can grow at high rates. It's not possible for India to grow at high rates unless Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, UP grow at high rates of 9 to 10%. And therefore, these states have to become the backbone of the new model of economic development. But fortunately, these states also have huge resources for renewable energy. These are states which can take the leadership in many new areas of growth, in food processing, in a vast range of new technologies of the future. And to my mind, that is where we must handhold them. That is where we must assist them. That is where we must support them. That is where we must help them to build a vision of the future. And that is where I think Niti Aayog will work in partnership with the Ministry of Coal to assist and support all these districts and these states to lead India into the future. Without these states being leading partners, without these districts being major players, it will not be able, we will never be able to undertake a just transition. We will never be able to undertake the goals that we have set out for ourselves for 2070. We will never be able to achieve the Panch Amrit which Honorable Prime Minister has laid down before us. And therefore, it is incumbent upon all of us to work in very close partnership. We are partners in progress. We believe in cooperative and competitive federalism, and therefore we will be very delighted to work in partnership with the iFOREST to take this Korba plan forward for implementation. And we will take forward many other districts in close partnership with the state and the district administration and assist and support them in their endeavor for a just transition of the future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me once again congratulate iFOREST and Mr. Chandrabhushan for this wonderful study. It's a remarkable study and I greatly appreciate his effort.